Nidus Breachcast, the world's first identity management app made exclusively for identity experts and product owners, is available in the iOS App Store now. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nidus Anarchy series. I'm your host Adam, CIO and co-founder of Nidus, and today we're going to talk about Apple's new event where they announced the new MacBook Pro, the iMac, and the Mac Mini. Every time Apple's come out with something, I've pretty much poo-pooed on it because it really wasn't terribly impressive. We may have a change of opinion here. So just 2 days ago, Apple has announced 3 different products, updates I should say, not really different or new, but updates to their products. They updated their MacBook Pro, they had an update to the Mac Mini, and they have an update to their iMac. The iMac, we're just going to skip that one because really the difference in there is just updated stuff, and the M4 chip was just kind of the big announcement across all the platforms, which is all their computers are now going to have the M4, and then there's the M4 Pro and M4 Max. So let's jump into the MacBook Pro, because this is their kind of the holy grail of computer is the MacBook Pro. It's the one everyone always wants, the latest and greatest. You can see right off the bat, the first thing that they're kicking off is Apple Intelligence. This is going to be their big push across the board everywhere, which is, oh look, this new thing you have has Apple Intelligence. So if we go down, let's look. So first we get the highlights, built for Apple Intelligence, personal, private, and powerful. I've had a chance to play with the Apple Intelligence on my phone. I had the developer 18.2 pre-release installed, so I got to play with it. Apple Intelligence is cool. It does have a lot of added benefits. I love that it actually integrates with ChatGPT, and so I can get way more contextual answers. I can get better, thorough answers on questions that I have. But I don't like some of the things that it does. Some of the summarization stuff, I don't want it to summarize. You know, I really want the actual real answers. Like my text messages, I don't want them to summarize. I don't even want them to know. Even though it's happening all on the phone, I'm not a big fan. But let's keep going here. So the big thing is their M4 chip. And now it comes in black, which is awesome because that's always a good one. The M4, this is kind of the real big announcement if you ask me. Under the hood, yes, they have new MacBook Pro and new Minis and iMacs, but really it's this M4. So it's M4 Pro, M4, and the M4 Max. These are significant improvements, and they do have cores built in specifically for Apple Intelligence to make those LLMs run and render a lot faster. So that is definitely going to be good. They're saying 3.4 times faster than an M1, 3 times faster than an M1 Pro, and the MacBook Pro with an M4 Max is up to 3.5 times faster than an M1 Max, which is great. And we're going to get to why I'm not terribly excited about this in a second. It's not that this is not an amazing feat of engineering and that it's really not super powerful and it can't do all these things. It's true, it can. But like what you're going to see here is Apple Intelligence, genius at work. Look what Apple Intelligence can do for you. Writing tools, Siri, priority messages. And now it talks about the privacy because, you know, it doesn't want you to think everything's getting shipped off your laptop to somewhere else. And battery life, so we can run for 24 hours in the new battery. That's awesome. That's huge. To me, a battery life up to 24 hours, up to 14 more hours than a MacBook Pro, the Intel-based one. So that's huge. I think they're really just trying to say, like, hey, look, because we moved to our own silicon, look how much more awesome things are. Things are definitely way better than they were before. The screen is a lot brighter, sharper, awesome, great. Now we get into iPhone and Mac work together. That's really an iOS/OS update. It's not really tied because of the MacBook Pro, because I can do that on my computer now. See it all in a new light. It's great. Liquid Retina XDR display with 1600 nits peak HDR brightness. Yeah, that's going to be really bright. So if you're working outside in the daylight, that's going to be a huge importance to you. Obviously, that's going to be also a battery drain. So I guess if you use it in daylight a lot, that's great. Command performance. I was talking about how, center stage, the thing will follow you around as you're talking to people. Desk view. Okay, cool. This is not tied to the MacBook Pro. This is tied to the operating system, the macOS underneath, and the features that it has. 6-speaker sound system. That's great. 3-way mic array. That's cool. Okay, so I sound great and I can hear well on a Zoom call. Okay, cool. I don't know if that's really why I'm going to spend all this money. There's one extra USB-C port on the side now, so we can attach more things, which is great. Let's see what else we got. No compromise. It still has all the biometric security for Touch ID, Find My Phone, or Find My Laptop, whatever. File Vault also. And now you should upgrade. Why? Here's why you should upgrade. Because it's faster, because of the M4 chip. It's built for Apple Intelligence, which is great, but that's the chip. and you can still run Apple Intelligence on the older silicon as well. Brighter screen, okay, cool, and up to 14 more hours of battery life. So, and you can get it in black. They didn't put that in there, but I think that's important. So, for what they've built hardware-wise for the MacBook Pro, it's cool. Like, if you're on an M1, like I have an M1 over there, and if I was needed a reason to upgrade, I would upgrade. This is definitely worth it from the battery standpoint. Life, it's great. I like that it's in black. That's nice, and it's faster processor. That's kind of cool because I do a lot of like video editing and some kind of intensive things from a CPU perspective. But realistically, I don't need it. And case in point, what you're looking at here is this is the MacBook Air, and this is an M2 in here, and this thing is a beast. Everything I want to do, all my Photoshop stuff, Final Cut Pro editing, 4K video, I can do it all on here. Way more lightweight. It doesn't have all the bells and features of this, but it's way cheaper. And honestly, I like that it's smaller and thinner. This thing is so bulky and heavy, it's annoying. It's like, cool, it's got all this battery life, but this thing has become a desktop to me now. I never take it off of there unless I'm traveling for a long period of time and need to have that particular laptop. I just run everything on here. So for me, and I consider myself a heavy user, I don't need that much power. Now, one thing before we go into the Mac Mini and the iMac, one thing I want to talk about, which is I think we're coming to the end of an era of computers and what's considered necessary. And the reason is, of course, because of AI, but it's because all that figuring out stuff and all that crazy compute power that we need to do things that we need for the laptops isn't going to be necessary anymore. Like if you're doing hardcore 3D video rendering and all this kind of stuff and you need all that compute power, well, you're not really going to need that anymore because all that stuff's going away with AI text to video and all this kind of stuff. I mean, that is going to be where the majority of video rendering is going, and all that is generated not here. It's going to be generated in the cloud somewhere. And same thing with, okay, well, let's say you're doing, I'm trying to think what else would be crazy intensive, like photo editing and stuff for big files. Like, okay, cool, maybe, but even then, a lot of that stuff can be done externally through AI. So I think AI is going to cut out a lot of the processing needs locally, and a lot of our processing needs are going to be external. So because of that, we're going to be more back to like the thin client stuff where it's, I want a thin laptop with way lightweight CPU, lightweight RAM. I don't need all that stuff because the majority of what I'm going to be doing is all going to be handled externally, not necessarily on the laptop, which means I can have a laptop that could run for a week and have to do very minimal compute. That's something I would love to see. I think the next series of laptops we're going to see are going to probably start focusing in that direction. And that's also going to make them drastically cheaper. Think Chromebooks, right? Those things came out with very minimal specs because really all you're doing is just browsing the web. Well, now add browsing the web and utilizing AI tools online to do everything. It's really going to be about bandwidth throughput, where if you have Starlink, you can be anywhere in the world with a super thin laptop that lasts for days and does all the compute externally. Then you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So I think we're going to see a shift in laptops and just hardware specs in general coming up. So I think we've kind of reached this M4 chip. While as amazing it is and super powerful, I don't know anyone that needs this level of compute power. So I don't see the need to actually go down this crazy route of having, let's max spec this thing. If we were to build out the biggest MacBook Pro, okay, 16-inch M4 Max with 16 core with 48 gigs of RAM. Okay, we're going to modify that one. Let's build this one up. So standard display, let's go with the nano texture display. We're going to do 128 gigs of RAM. That's crazy. Storage, we'll go with the 8 terabyte hard drive. And I don't want Final Cut, I don't want Logic Pro. Okay, cool. So here we go. So the top of the line MacBook Pro is $7,349. I don't know how I'm going to use 128 gigs of RAM. I would rather have 128 gigs of VRAM. Now we're talking. Now that's something that I can use. 8 terabytes of storage, that's awesome. I mean, I have 4 terabytes, and I'm definitely filling it up on my main one, which is cool. But like, I really don't need that. A lot of my storage I can do in the cloud or offline on hard drives. I don't have to have 4 terabytes of information with me at all times. A lot of that stuff can absolutely be archived. And then from the display, okay, cool, $150 difference on the display. But the big things are the processing, the RAM, and the local storage. It's like, wow, this is amazing. This would have made me super excited 5 years ago. I mean, like, this would have been like an unbelievable thing to have in my hand. I probably would have tried to drop the money on it. I would have been making monthly payments for sure. But I don't see the need now, and I don't see the need in the future. I don't think we're going to be at that level where we're going to need this level of computer and a laptop, or even on a desktop for that matter, just because the way we do things is different, right? The way that we're going to be doing things is going to be so much different. I don't think we're going to need this anymore. So this, I think we're at the top of that bell curve where things are going to have to start changing, and there's going to be a new market entry of laptops that are AI-centric. So think of it like cursors, where they made an IDE that's AI-centric. Imagine an entire OS and hardware laptop that's all AI-centric. Imagine if ChatGPT or OpenAI or Anthropic, imagine those guys came out with a laptop. Now we're talking a whole new realm. Now we're not building a faster car. Now we're making an airplane. That's where I think we're going to be going. So that's going to be kind of interesting. So let's jump over to the iMac real quick, just because I really don't care about the iMac. And let's see, get the highlights. New vibrant colors. Okay. Apple Intelligence, again, that's part of the OS, not the actual Mac itself. Great powers comes privacy, again, still not something to do with the actual hardware. Display, a real pupil pleaser. Okay, it's got a better display. That's nice. That sounds like fun. Maybe camera, mic, speakers. It's got attention. It's great for video calls and Zoom, and it's got apps, and I can mirror my phone. Again, all this is OS stuff, has nothing to do with the hardware. It's magical. There's a color-matched power connector. Who cares? Why are you spending all that extra time and money to develop something that you can't see and will make zero difference on the computer? It's an aesthetic that you cannot see. Whatever. Okay, accessories, of course. The mouse, it was a cool mouse. I actually have one of those things, but the biggest design flaw that I ever made fun for was the fact that you plug the mouse in upside down, on the bottom of things, so you can't use the mouse at all. And they just released a new the new mouse, I forget what the thing is called, Magic Mouse, and now you can get it in black, and now it's got a USB port as opposed to the Thunderbolt. Still on the bottom. Like, did they not hear anyone at all like complaining about how this is the dumbest design flaw ever? Nope, they don't care. So yeah, so what does this iMac have? New spacious 4.5K Retina display. Nice. Built for Apple Intelligence. Okay, so are the older ones. Advanced security Touch ID. Not a problem, still as the old ones too. Up to 6 times faster with popular over than the Intel iMacs, which were forever ago. So this is why don't really care about the iMac. It really isn't that big of an update. It's really just has the new stuff in it. Okay, cool. Now let's get to the one that I actually am excited about, and this is the new Mac Mini. The new Mac Mini is crazy powerful for such a small footprint and for how much it costs. This is something I think is very exciting to me. So much so that I'm highly debating getting this Mac Mini and then selling my M1 laptop, because this thing never leaves, and I think this thing is going to be more powerful than that thing. So let's go through the Mac Mini. So the highlights: new ultra compact design. Yeah, this thing is tiny, super tiny. A little bit thicker though, but who cares? It's amazing. Look how small this thing is. 1/20th the size and 6 times faster compared to top-selling PC desktops. Okay, now I don't really care about that, but compared to the previous Mac Mini, the thing's almost half the size from a footprint perspective, which is great. So introducing the far mightier, way tinier, all-new Mac Mini, 5 by 5 inches. So tiny. Of pure power and purpose. Redesigned around the Apple Silicon to unleash the full speed and capabilities of the M4 and M4 Pro chips with a wide array of ports now on the front and back. Mac Mini is the definition of efficiency and the first carbon-neutral Mac. It is truly the little Mac that could. So we kind of go through and see all the cool things. So it's got two USB-C ports on the front and a headphone jack. They've killed the headphone jack everywhere else, so I really don't understand. Do I even have one on here? I don't think so, right? Oh, wait, I do. I have a headphone jack in here, too. I can't think of the last time I've ever plugged in a headphone jack. Why not something way cooler than a headphone jack? I think they could... who cares? Anyway, so those are the front. And on the back, got the power, Ethernet, HDMI, and 3 Thunderbolt 3 ports for super fast data transfer. So that's awesome too. And you could you could plug in multiple displays, which is also super cool. For cooling, it's great. Lots of fans and things. Okay, let's go into some more stuff. M4 and M4 Pro, that's great. Definitely hardware accelerated for gaming. Drives up to 3 displays. 1, 2, 3. That's perfect. That's exactly what I need. And world's fastest CPU core for incredible responsiveness. Make short work with everyday tasks, open and switch between apps seamlessly. Apple Intelligence. Again, we're going to pushing the Apple Intelligence stuff. That's great. And that's something I don't think the M1 can do. I'm not 100% on that, but I don't think it has the dedicated cores for the M1. Well, you know what? Let's try this. Let's go to ChatGPT and does the new Mac Mini... Oh, wait, no, sorry. Does the M1 MacBook Pro work with Apple Intelligence? Let's see what this is. Searching the web. Yes, M1 is compatible with Apple Intelligence. Okay, cool. There we go. Apple Intelligence is available on the MacBook Pro models equipped with M1 and later chips. So that's the first one that it will be able to work with. Honestly, this laptop pisses me off so much for so much crap since day one. Everyone that's been around me knows how much I hate this laptop. So I'm kind of looking for a reason to get rid of it. Okay, it talks about the privacy of stuff again and all the apps, how they're going to run fast and how it can do things. iPhone mirroring, that's iOS, universal clipboard, AirDrop again. That's all just on the iOS level stuff. Let's see, never been a better time to upgrade. So footprint, less than half the size. That I love. I mean, I have so much crap on my desk. It'll be nice to get rid of that thing. Higher port bandwidth for fast and faster wireless, built for Apple Intelligence, and 20 times faster performance than whatever 21 is, which is testing conducted in September and October 2024 using pre-production Mac Mini systems with Apple M4 Pro 14-core CPU, 20-core GPU, 64 gigs of RAM, and 8 terabyte SSD, and production 3.2 core Intel i7 based Mac Mini. So it's comparing the Intel Macs to this one. So I mean, still 20x. That's pretty crazy. Let's go ahead and see if we build one of these things out. So these things start at $600. That's crazy. I mean, if you're looking for a computer and you don't really have a big budget and you have a monitor, obviously, this is awesome. 10-core GPU, 10-core CPU, 16 gigs RAM, 256 hard drive. Just plug in an external hard drive, honestly. Or you can spend an extra $200 and have a 512, which looks to be the biggest that they're going to do out of stock. And the biggest one here is a 12-core CPU, 16-core GPU, 24 gigs of RAM with a half terabyte hard drive for $1,400. Let's see if we can customize this thing and max it out. What are we looking at? Okay, we can put an M4 Pro chip in here with 14 cores. Okay, let's do that one. And a 16-core neural engine. For memory, we can get up to 64 gigs of RAM. Let's do that. For storage, okay, so storage, we can go up to an 8 terabyte hard drive. So it comes stock with a 512. I'd be curious to see what an external. Actually, I know they're expensive. Let's check this out. That's ChatGPT. How much is external SSD hard drive Thunderbolt 3 is 8 terabytes. Let's see what we got. So if we want an external SSD hard drive with Thunderbolt 3, that's 8 terabytes. We're looking to spend somewhere around, let's see, SanDisk 8 terabyte. Let's look at SanDisk. They're generally cheaper. 8 terabytes. Okay, that's the picture at Best Buy. How much is it? Why? Okay, Best Buy. How much is it? $600. Okay, so if you don't care about space, $600 for an external 8 terabytes of hard drive, you're going to save $1,800. I think that's worth saving $1,800. Now, I will bump this thing up to 1 terabyte because I think having a terabyte on with then external is going to be way more worth it, especially for like $200. 10 gigabit Ethernet. I'm going to do that because bandwidth is awesome. So we're looking at $2,500. So a Mac Mini with the M4 Pro, 64 gigs of RAM, a terabyte SSD hard drive, 10 gigabit Ethernet. We're looking at $2,500. That's awesome. I would much rather spend $2,500 on this Mac Mini than I would $7,500 on the MacBook Pro that's fully maxed out. This thing will absolutely do way more than I possibly need and way more than what this freaking thing is I hate on the behind me doing. So this Mac Mini, I'm actually very impressed with. I think this is going to be an amazing computer that they've come out with. And the more I look at this, the more I think I actually want to buy it. So Mac's announcements, for once, there's actually something I'm actually excited about. That's pretty awesome. I guess really the only real thing is to see if it works. So maybe I'll put this on my Christmas list, because I don't really need it right away, but it does look like something I could have fun with, so we'll see what happens. Either way, what do you guys think about the new Mac release? Do you think it's something worthwhile? Are you going to get it? Because that's really all that really matters. It doesn't really matter what I think. Is the vast majority of people think this is worthwhile. The Vision Pro was a dump. The last few releases they're putting out things have been garbage. iPhone releases have been kind of like not terribly exciting. So Mac Mini is pretty rad. MacBook Pro, cool, but who really needs all that? And then the iMac, just who really cares? So that's kind of the summary of my opinion of this latest Apple announcement of all their new hardware releases. So see you guys around. Later. Nidus has just created the first iOS app made exclusively for identity management professionals. It's called Nidus Breachcast, and you can download it now. It's amazing. We have real-time updates of all the latest breaches that are occurring, CVEs as they come out real-time, really pertaining just to identity management. We have media that's going on this podcast. We're going to be bringing in a lot more others as well. And we even have a complete vendor list of all the identity management vendors and all their products, so you can find out exactly where to download their software, all the documentation. And what's even more awesome is an identity management glossary. All those crazy words and acronyms that we can never remember, they're all listed in there for you. No ads, just pure information to make your life simple.